So you've seen her on a ton of stuff. Maybe you've seen her on So You Think You Can Dance, America's Got Talent. She's been in a ton of great movies. But speaking of which, I mean, it's a new era for Resident Evil. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City going to be coming out in on November the 24th, and oh, she's got a huge role in it. It's Marina Mazepa. How you doing, Marina?
I'm doing well, thank you so much.
So you've done like a lot of work in the horror genre recently. I mean, you were in The Unholy and some other great things. Are you a fan of the horror genre, or has it just been like the right roles at the right time?
Uh, I think that's the second. So I love horror. I love watching horror movies, but when I am with my friends and we are having fun, so I'm not alone and I'm not getting freaked out. But I think the second version is like the answer to your questions. I just happened to be there. I think after America's Got Talent, I was discovered by James Wan, and he cast me in his movie *Malignant*. That's how I started my career.
Not a bad person to be discovered by, that's
Not
for
a
sure.
bad person, I
That's a
know.
good start. You've also done some good TV stuff though too. You were just playing the Echo in the Girl in the Woods series as well. How much did you enjoy your experience on that show?
It was amazing. I definitely enjoyed the experience to be there, and I got there like last minute. I got there through people that I worked with on *Malignant*. So I w- it was like last minute figuring out what I can do and how I can do it. And when I read the script, I realized like, oh my God, my character doesn't really do much. Because she was invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Second, you could see her only through the reflection,
Mm-hmm.
and and she didn't really move much. But then they adjusted and they expanded my role, so it was fun to play around. And yeah, it was great to spend some time in Portland. It was warm, it was nice. So
You got to go to Portland when it was warm. You're so lucky. That almost never happens.
it was
So
sunny.
there you go. There you go. So of course, your next big role going to be in Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. Were you a fan of the franchise ahead of time, either the games or the previous movies, or was it? And what's it like to be part of such a huge franchise?
I was a fan of the movies, and I'm a big fan of Mila Jovovich,
Hmm.
and she's Ukrainian as well, and she's a badass. I love her. But I've never played like the games. Like I wasn't familiar with that. Um, and when I found out that I was being considered for this role, I mean, that was so amazing. I was so excited. And it was only my third movie, and it was right in the middle of the pandemic. And I don't know, I just felt so fortunate.
Absolutely. And I think that Resident Evil fans are going to be happy to have you too, because Lisa Trevor is a big deal for anyone who plays the games. They know that. How much can you actually tell us about her role in this upcoming film and your portrayal and just being able to kind of expand on this character more, which is
Yeah.
what fans have been asking for?
Well, when the producer sent me the offer for this role, I had no idea who Lisa Trevor was, and I started researching and reading and watching lots of books and videos, right? Um, and I was fascinated by her tragic story. Upon the first impression, you can see that she has a very like terrifying aspect. She's ape-like, and she has elongated arms, and she has shackles, and she has this nightgown, right? And it's horrifying. But she also has like an aspect of sympathy and empathy. Um, Her dad was an architect, the architect who created the Umbrella Corporation, and when he finished his work, the Corporation didn't want anyone to know about it, so they decided to kill his family as well.
Hmm.
So they they took her and her mom and they injected her them they injected them with two different viruses. Her mom died, and she was basically the first experiment of the virus. So, and then she, for 45 years, she had been looking for her mom, and she would kill all the imposters who tried to um, uh, pass for her mom, and
Hmm.
she put their faces, and she made a mask out of their faces, and she put that mask on her face. So that's a tragic story of Lisa Trevor.
That is wild stuff, and we can't wait to see, I can't wait to see how that plays out. So, I mean, I take a look at your resume a little bit, and you've been doing ballet and dance since you were tiny. So, did that experience actually help you for this role with maybe some of the movements and some of the not so normal motions that you'd have with this character?
Of course. I mean, I think because of my contortion and dance experience, I I had the chance to like start working in the movie industry, and that definitely helped me to play this role.
Excellent, excellent. We've seen a little bit of Lisa's transformation from what's been released so far with the trailers and things like that and photos. So, what was the process like in coming up with that look and working with the team on that?
Well, first, we already know Lisa Trevor. It's like her look. The look was established in the game,
Hmm.
right? Um, and second, since we were filming during the pandemic, it was really we didn't have much time to spend time with like developing the costume or like pieces of a prop. We had to be quarantined for 2 weeks before we start filming, and the rules were so like strict when we couldn't talk to be in the room with more than a couple of people.
Hmm.
So because of that, we had a lot of things on the fly, I would say. So my shackles weren't really like comfortable on my first scene, so we had to adjust them and change the choreography or like things like that. But it was definitely a fun process. With I think the production also was very open to my ideas, which was super cool. And yeah, and then in if when I throw some ideas, we would like adjust so many things, including costume and props. So
That's awesome. Do you kind of feel like you said it was on the fly? Do you kind of feel like that kind of takes the pressure off a little bit in playing a role like this or being in a movie like this where you can just kind of relax and just kind of go for it sort of thing?
well, I'm the person who wants to be prepared, and I was prepared in terms of like my ideas and moves, and I read a lot about her, and I created a backstory and like emotionally all of that. So, and then I came on set, and it was just a matter of whatever happens, happens, So, and yeah, it was exciting because you work with the professionals who's like top of the top. So I wasn't worried that something will go wrong or like, will hurt myself or is. I definitely challenged myself a lot in this movie, and I've grown so much. So I'm so fortunate and grateful.
Yeah, with the team that you were working with, even on the fly, things were going to be very, very prepared.
Yeah.
So it's not quite as on. It's not like me being on the fly doing something like that or something like that. So I'm sure that everybody was super, super prepared. As a matter of fact, your director Johannes Roberts said in another interview that I saw, Lisa
Yeah.
Trevor is very important to Claire's story as well. So without spoiling anything, how much can you kind of tell us about that, if anything?
Well, Lisa Lisa is a half human, half creature, and she's cautious, but at the same time, um, she's a creature, right? But she's not like brain dead.
Right.
So that was the thing, that she felt lonely, and she didn't have friends. And I think she thought she could find a friend in Claire. That's kind of like something I can just a little bit tell
In-
you.
Interesting, interesting. Something to look forward to. All right. So you had such an incredible, not just a crew but cast as well for this film. How much did you enjoy working with them, and was there anybody in particular that you really loved having scenes with?
You know, um, I spent a lot of time with Kaya and Evan. It was amazing just to talk to them about the projects they've done, about how they started their careers, and get some advice. You know, it's always amazing. But especially, I spend a lot of time with Donald Logue. He's like, I think he's the one of the nicest and the best persons in the world. He was so nice. Just like I can't even find another word. We also had this like fun incident. He took a selfie and he posted it on his social media, and it was a huge like fire. We were supposed to like take it down right away because the fans and all the thing about like fans that could make screenshots and like and he like I was full costume, nobody knew about Lisa Trevor back then, so it was like, oh my god, no. So yeah, it
Oh
was.
no.
Yeah.
Oops.
So we took it down right away and we figured things out, but yeah, it was fun.
I love it when that happens. I know that the people behind the scenes don't, but that's always fun for all of us.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, I always like to ask this question because there's always such interesting answers. Are there any other film franchises or stories in particular that you'd really love to be a part of in the future?
Mm. Well, I have a lot of them, I guess. I think John Wick
Oh, that would
was
be.
a
I can so
awesome.
see that right now. Oh, that would be so awesome.
And I don't know, a new version of Spider Woman.
Oh, she's just throwing that out there, people. Because there's been some talk about
That's
that. Maybe
insane.
that might be a good idea.
That's insane. I
That
don't
would be
know.
very,
Yeah,
very cool.
that would be amazing. I
That would
also
be
love
amazing.
Fifth. I just was like, the Fifth Element has been one of my favorite movies since I was a little girl. So hasn't been a remake done.
And, I mean, they're remaking everything else. I mean, they might as well
You know?
remake that too, and throw you in there. And Mila was in that too, wasn't she? If I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
I know. Yeah,
There
she
you
she
go.
was one.
There you
I
go.
know.
The ladies of the Ukraine have to stick together for sure.
Right.
Well, we'll start with Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. That's going to be in theaters on November the 24th. And oh, is she going to do an amazing job bringing Lisa Trevor to life? It's Marina Mazepa. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing. It was a pleasure.